a congressional power, not a presidential power, to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are. They're generating money from American citizens, revenue.
The exercise of the power is to impose tariffs, right? And the statute doesn't use the word tariffs.
Congress, as a practical matter, can't get this power back once it's handed it over to the president. It's a one-way ratchet toward the gradual but continual accretion of power in the executive branch and away from the people's elected representatives.
Welcome to The Resistance, and what you just watched was the Supreme Court tear apart the government's argument on tariffs. It did not go well with them, and this happened a few weeks ago, I think. And I only bring it up today because Donald Trump is panicking about these tariffs. Okay, the Supreme Court is likely not to side with Donald Trump this time because it's such a blatant constitutional violation. So I wanted to talk about his Truth Social here, and I wanted to break down why I think he's saying this. Okay, so on his Truth Social, all right, 2 days ago, he goes, all money left over from the $2,000 payments made to low and middle income USA citizens. So these are going to be like your free money, which is not really free. It was yours to begin with, since he's taxing you and then giving it back. He goes, all this money, right, all the money that's left over after this big giveaway from the massive tariff income, keyword there, pouring into our country from foreign countries. He's retarded. That's not how it works. Which will be used to substantially pay down national debt. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So now there's so many things wrong with this truth. Okay, so first of all, I think he's saying this, right, that he's going to give money back to people, because what's going to end up happening most likely is the Supreme Court was going to knock down these tariffs. He's going to say that, hey man, they're going to say, Trump, you can't do these tariffs. And as a result of that ruling, he's probably going to have to refund that money back. And guess what? Tariffs, okay, right here he says, the tariff income pouring into our country from foreign countries. Okay, that's kind of a big lie, because the tariffs are paid by us, the American companies, that then pass down those costs to the people. Okay, so basically he's just saying that he's going to give us our money back. And he's trying to I think he's going to try to turn this Supreme Court ruling that's probably not going to be in his favor into a win. So even though, so for example, he'll say, yeah, the Supreme Court ruled against me, but look at all the money that we got, and now I'm giving it to the people. So these tariffs were a success. So no matter what, in his mind, he's warped this failure as a win. Okay. So the next thing that's wrong with this truth is he's talking about this massive tariff income. Okay, so the Supreme Court justices, we're trying to make it clear that if these tariffs are raising any sort of revenue, then that is an indication of a tax. Okay, so him saying that there's this massive tariff income that's going to be used to substantially pay down national debt, that is a big indicator that these tariffs are being treated as revenue and are being used to pay for our government operations. So, he's kind of self-incriminating himself and destroying his own argument, because the government's argument was that these are not, the purpose of this is not to raise revenue. The revenue is just like a secondary effect that doesn't really, they're trying to downplay the amount of money that was going to come in from these tariffs, which is, it's probably not in the trillions, like he says. It's probably in the billions, which is still a lot of money. Anyways, that's that. He's just going crazy about these tariffs. Let's see, what else does he say about them? The payback numbers being quoted by radical left lunatics who would love to see us lose on tariffs because of how bad it would be for our country are much higher than those being stated by our fake opposition. Opposition mainly from foreign countries that would do anything to be allowed to charge us tariffs without retribution, which is, I just don't know what to make of that. The actual number we would have to pay back in tariff revenue and investments would be in excess of $2 trillion. And that in itself would be a national security catastrophe. Those opposed to us in the United States Supreme Court are giving low numbers so that the court will think it's easy to get out of this terrible situation. So right now he's trying to make this argument that there's so much money, there's no way we can give it all back, so the Supreme Courts have to rule in his favor. And again, in the Supreme Court, there was an argument made saying that, the amount of money that has to be given back is not a reason to not actually rule on something. There's several options. There could be a hold on their order while Congress figures it out. There's many different ways to pay this back. There could be you could go through the Trade Commission courts, and there's a whole lengthy process. But I mean, it's not impossible. He's just really freaking. He doesn't want to lose this tariff power. Okay, this is how he's making all his big deals. Okay, this is how he's making Trump RX work. He doesn't want to lose this because he's using and abusing this tool to the nth degree. All right, enough of tariffs. That shit is so boring, but so important. Today, ADELITA GRIJALVA was finally sworn in. Go ahead and watch this.
The United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, you're now a member of the 119th Congress.
Yeah, I hate Mike Johnson. I don't know, that guy just seems so sleazy. So this is good. She's sworn in, and she's going to sign those Epstein discharge positions. That's going to force a vote in the House to release these Epstein files. And who knows what's going to happen then? Who knows if these files are really going to come out. But speaking of files, some new Epstein emails came out that are pretty raunchy. So this was updated an hour ago from the New York Times. Epstein Files live update. Trump named in emails released by Democrats and Republicans. Messages in which Jeffrey Epstein discussed President Trump were among 20,000 documents posted online. President Trump called the release a distraction engineered by Democrats. Of course. Right. The master of distractions accusing us of a distraction. Got it. So let's see. So this one was, April 2nd, 2011. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. I had the ... Today, I think Caroline Leavitt said the victim was Virginia Giuffre. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Let's see what else here. Never heard of him. So these are all, so that was from Jeffrey Epstein. This next one's from Jeffrey Epstein. Never heard of him? Donald is close to no one. He talks to many people. He tells each one something different. On Sunday, March 4th, 2018 at 5:29 a.m., Sultan bin Solomon wrote, "Do you know him? I heard he is so close to Trump." Interesting. This one's from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein. There's an opportunity to come forward this week and talk about Trump in such a way that could garner you great sympathy and help finish him. Interested? Jesus. Why couldn't they finish him then, damn it? From Jeffrey Epstein to Kathy Rumler. You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers and why biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. Oh shit. Kathy Rumler wrote in response, it makes no difference whether it was his money. Issue is failure to disclose, plus fact that he has lied his ass off about it makes clear that he knew it was illegal. Some things just never change, do they? So here's the latest. What is this? The mocking and accusatory voice of Jeffrey Epstein emerged from a trove of more than 20,000 emails made public by lawmakers on Wednesday, including his claim that President Trump once spent hours at my house with a young woman who later accused Mr. Epstein of sexually abusing and trafficking her when she was a teenager. In a series of emails with the friends and associates surfacing first in a few messages elected by House Democrats and then in full by Republicans on the House Oversight Committee, Mr. Epstein described Mr. Trump as a dirty businessman who was borderline insane, untrustworthy, and worse in real life and up close than the image he sought to portray to the public. Wow. Don't you say? Well, that's, okay. Well, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I think a lot of people are talking about that dog one. It's just kind of crazy. Like, what does that mean, you know? I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. What does that mean? Crazy stuff. So, when ADELITA GRIJALVA, she signed that. I think she signed the discharge petition. I don't know when they're going to vote on those Epstein files, but hopefully they come out soon. I want to see his ass go down. All right, well, that's a boring day, I guess. I'll see y'all another day. Bye.